Right. Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I am going live with my Paper Pumpkin class. This is the Paper Pumpkin. We're using the Life is Sweet kit, which is from June. I usually hold this class on the first Thursday of the month following the kit, so it would have been tomorrow, July 4th. But because it's a holiday here in the US, I thought it would be better to put it at another day. And unfortunately, it had kind of worked out to have to be today. So we have one person on, but we can't see her, and that's okay. Um, and other people may join. And if not, if you're watching on replay, enjoy. We have alternative projects at the end, so don't hesitate to skip forward to that if you already know how to make the kit. But if you want some tips and tricks, I highly recommend it. There were a couple of things I did a little differently um, on my own here. So I'm going to flip over to my uh, desktop. There we go. And here you can see the kit and what the items that come in it. So very exciting. We got a Shy Shamrock little Stampin' Spot, which is really fun because that is an in color. That is one of this year's in colors. And then we have this fabulous stamp set. Love this very basic font. It's always good to have. And I really like having this stamped thanks. As part of the uh, add-on last month, there was a die that looks very similar to this. This quarter's add-ons are available. It has a congrats in there, I believe. And I have it, but I can't remember where I put it. So I'm going to look for that. But this is the stamp set. And you know that you get this in your kit, in the kit. And that's how I store them so that I can see what I have. So I'm going to just take out the stamps for now. And here are the instructions, and that's what I'll be using to help us sort out the supplies. So when you first open it up, you've got some tear and tape and some twine. So I think it's basically a whole roll of the linen thread. Actually, it's called linen thread. It's definitely got a lot on here, so that is always good because even if we have extras, it's wonderful. Now, this time it does come with, I can't remember what was in which baggie when I opened the kit. So forgive me if it's in the wrong place, but we have some pearls. So you can see there are two different sizes there. We've got our pearls, and then we've got our glue dots as usual. And I'm actually using them today, and I recommend that you use these glue dots or some others. It does make a couple of things easier. And then we also have mini dimensionals, which I tend to hoard, but I will be using them today too. So let's go ahead and open up our package and remove what's inside. So first we have some beautiful envelopes, really pretty. We've got these look like bubble bath maybe envelopes. And so they're pretty, but they have a fun die cut edge. So that'll be great to use, but we're not going to use them tonight. So I'm just going to put that aside. And then these are Shy Shamrock ones, also with the fun edge. And we've got some, I don't know. I don't know what you would call that. I would have called it So Saffron back in the day, but we don't have So Saffron anymore. So it's a yellow. We'll go with that. So I put all the envelopes aside. And next up, we have this packet of this very, very pretty laser die cut image. And we don't even have to punch it out or anything, but note that there are 3 sets in here, and each set contains the die cut and a sheet of vellum already die cut as well to be the same size as the die or laser cut, actually, I should call it. So I have 1 set left because I made the card samples. And this will go with card number 3. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to set up some piles over here in front of me. And so that's going to put pile number 3. Next up, we have this card base with a front that is has color. And that is gonna be card number 2. Then we have a sheet of banners, I'm gonna call them, and we're just gonna use one from each. So this top one, the way that I'm holding it, this at the top is slightly longer than the ones below it. You can see that these two, they're lined up next to each other. The longer one is going to go with card number 2. Okay, so I'm punching that out. That'll be good. Card number 2. The shorter one at the bottom, slightly shorter one, I should say, goes with card number 1. So get that out. It goes to card number 1. And then also on the sheet on the side are much smaller ones, much shorter ones. And that goes with card number 3. So you can take the rest of these and put them aside for the rest of your cards. Next up, we got some lemons. Now they're 2 different ones. One has 2 leaves and one has 1 leaf. You want one of each of those. And that is going to go with card number 2. Okay. Card number 2, and put the rest aside. Next up is the card base for card number 3. So that pretty pool party looks like it's spackled paint, and it's on the front and the back of that card base. Very fun. Great for using with alternative projects. And then we've got a whole bunch of peaches. So this is what I want you to do. These are all going to go with card number 3. You're going to just work your way across. Okay, so we're going to take this one. It's a big, darker one. And again, they all go with card number 3. Then we've got a lighter, darker one. Okay. Then we've got 2 together, and these are, I'm going to call medium size. And again, one of each of these. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to pause it and then come back when, if I'm going too fast. All right. And then at the very bottom, I'm going to call these the small ones, and you're going to take a small peaches. Okay. So that's a total of 5 peaches for card number 3. Okay. Then we have the card base for card number 1. Now, just when you put it in pile number 1, remember the only thing we had over there was the banner. And so I'm picking up mine so that it doesn't get buried underneath the card base. So just a little reminder, because of course I lost mine earlier. Then we're going to take the next sheet, and mine are just falling right out. But this, it has 2 pieces on it. So we're going to take the die cut bubble bath, I think, or Pretty in Pink. I'm not used to it yet, so I'm not sure. Having 2 that are close together. I think maybe it's Pretty in Pink. And then we have some leaves that are laser cut, and that also goes, these are all going with, or that's not right. Okay, I'm sorry. This Pretty in Pink piece actually goes with card number 1. I'm sorry about that. Card number 1. And the greenery goes with card number 2. I got confused with the pinks being on both. Okay, and then you can take the rest of those sheets and put them aside for other cards. Okay, so, okay. Now we have our glitter die cuts, and when you turn it over, you can see what they are, or better. So this paper, this is our glimmer paper, and our glimmer paper is quite thick, and that's because it has a paper backing. It's self-adhesive, so don't be looking for that. But because it does not shed, it's really, really good about that. I think it's just a little bit thicker and a little harder to cut through. However, I was able to easily get my words out when I was doing it earlier. So first I'm gonna pull out the Miss, which is right here. So just carefully pulling it out. And again, I'm working from the back side because I could not tell at all what was what on the front. Okay. And just make sure that you take out any little extra pieces. They can be a little bit hard to see, as I said. You might want to use your take your pick tool to help you with that. I found just using my fingers was fine. But that's me. Okay, so here's the miss, and miss is going to go with card number 1. And then, of course, we want the U to go with that, and that's over here next to it. So, taking this out, and again, it's a little tricky, but I'm just gently poking, and everything's coming right out. So here's the U, also with card number 1. Let me see, is there a little piece in there? I don't think so. Okay. All right, the next word we're looking for is, this is congrats, and it's the next one down the line. And I'm going to pull that out. And then this one, obviously, it's a longer word. We'll have more little pieces to remove. So by the S, between some of the letters. And you can kind of tell when you turn it over, if you can tell what the letter is. You can tell, for example, I know that there's something in here because this is an A and it needs to come out. So again, just use my take your pick tool. I am going to give my take your pick tool quite the workout today. I did, so if you have one, I suggest that you run and get it and use it. Makes everything a lot easier. Again, with the G, we need a hole at the bottom and a hole at the top. And I'm just sort of tapping my take your pick tool where I think it might end up being the little extra pieces, and sure enough, they pop right out. So, okay. So look at that. Congrats. So pretty. And that goes with card number 2. And then, let's see. Oh, nope, we need the hello. So now we have hello. And I'm going to pull this one out over here to the side. And again, just gently pulling it out, working with it upside down. Definitely makes it a lot easier. Working from the front side, and it's really hard to see. Okay. So we're going to pull this out. Between the L's, there is definitely a piece. And then, of course, the L is going to have some too. Okay. And there's our hello. Okay. And that's going to go with card number 3. Phew, that took a minute, right? You're going to take the rest of them and put that to the side for your other cards. Next up, we have a sheet that has some little stars, which are really blossoms, and then it has some sprigs. And I think that these sprigs might be different, or they might be exactly the same. I'm not exactly sure. So this one appears longer to me. So I'm going to take one of each. So we need 2, and they go with card number 2. So I'm taking a shorter one and a longer one. Carefully, carefully, this is vellum. So I am just carefully pulling it out. And again, it's laser cut, so it's not that hard to do. So 2 of those. And then these sweet little blossoms, we need 3 of these. So there are big ones and smaller ones. So I did 2 big ones, and the small ones are in the center. Okay, and they go with card number 1. So the blossoms are card number 1, and the branches or stems, whatever, are on card number 2. Okay, last one. Thank goodness, right? We need 2 sets of cherries. So there's 1, and here's 2, and they go, whoops, they go with card number 1. I did it again. Okay, so the cherries, 2 sets of cherries, go with card number 1. And then the remaining you'll save for your other cards. So great. Got our cardboard base. I'm just going to wipe away some of this extra stuff. Oops. Not to lose any of my pieces. And all right, we are ready to get started. So I'm going to bring over the pile for card number 1. If you remember, we've got the cherries here. We've got the little blossoms. Remember the little blossoms we just did? I'm going to put them right on top of the cherries so I don't lose them. So I can see them. Okay, right there. And then we've got our Miss and our U. We've got our die cut piece, and we have our label to stamp. So I'm going to stamp my label at the beginning of each one of these. And I'm just going to grab my stamp set. And this one, let me show you the card that we're making. And it looks like this. Okay. So you can see we're going to use Wish You Were Here. That's in the middle. And of course, you can use any sentiment that you want. All right. As long as you can get it to fit. And if not, you could always get yourself another piece of paper. So I'm just putting this on a block. And as I usually do, I'm going to use a full-size pad just because it's easier for me. And I also donate my spots to people who can't buy them. Okay. All right. So we've got Wish You Were Here. And just going to aim that for the center. Hope for the best. Not it's a little crooked. I'm actually going to put my glasses on. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better. And we'll try that. Been meaning to do that for the whole time. We'll come in again. That's the beauty of it. It always has 2 sides. Let's see if I can get a little bit bigger. That's better. Okay. Wish you were here. Hooray. All right. So I'm going to close up my ink pad. I don't stick my elbow in it. I'm going to clean off my stamp. Some of my downline would be so proud of me for doing it as I go and cleaning it up right up. Usually I just grab a whole bunch of blocks and get everything mounted, but I am actually prepping for my classes next week, so my blocks are in high demand. So, okay, so now I'm going to take my, oh, I got some ink on my card. That's not great. Okay, I'm going to take my card. It has a nice score line there. And I'm going to use my bone folder, give it a nice crease because I want it to lay flat for me. I'm working with it. Now we're going to take this piece, this die cut, and we are going to take out our twine and we are going to measure 30 inches is what they want you to do for this. Now, if you recall, on the inside of your instructions, there's a ruler. This is an 18-inch ruler. So I'm going to go 18 inches and then 12 inches, and that gets me to 30 inches. Assuming I am doing my math correctly. I think so. And I'm just going to cut it there. And the side, right? Okay. This back. And so we've got a nice long piece of this twine. Now I like to just use my fingernail, kind of straighten it out a little bit. Let's see what I'm doing. I'm just pulling it. Okay. And then we're going to be wrapping it around this. Now, here's my trick. Now, everybody does this a little bit differently, but what I like to do is to start it at one end of the piece that I'm wrapping it around. Okay, so I'm starting it here. I'm going to pick it up, hold that there, and then I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times. Okay, and that way, when I get to the second time around, I'm going to stop at this side. So then I'm left with enough, because this is wide. This is a nice wide piece that I'm wrapping it around. So I'm going to tie a bow this way. Now, some people will tie a knot at this point. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to do it without the knot. I feel like it lays better. I'm just doing the, the normal shoelace bow. You can't see what I'm doing because I got a camera in my face. And so I tied a knot. No, did I? No. Sorry. It's just hard to see without being able to get closer to it. Let's try that again. Here we go. And I'm just trying to put it all the way on the left side of the piece because I want to have room to put other stuff on the right. So here we go. And there is a bow. Probably not my best bow. I really like the way it came out of my other one. The original one I did, but you can see that it's wrapped around, and I'm going to pull this a little bit in, and then I'm going to trim it. So I've got my bow there. All right. And it's wrapped around. Now, what's nice about this is that it's a little bit loose and I can kind of decide where it's going to go. And then I kind of messed up when I did it on my first card. So I'm going to tell you to do it a little bit further down. See, I did mine here. It's a little higher up, and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. Okay. And now once you have that, we're going to put it right to the edge of the fold. Okay. And I'm just going to use regular adhesive for this. You could use wet adhesive, whatever works for you. I'm just going to use my regular. They, of course, provide the glue dots for that, and I'm just not going to use it for this. I get that about where I want it. And then I'm going to lay that down right in the center so that it goes right up to the edge. Oops, and I did that wrong. Don't see, it's a good thing most of you are watching on a replay. Use dimensionals for this. Oh my gosh. Better get my instructions out. Sorry about that. This is put on with dimensionals. As I was doing, I was like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. So yeah, it's a little sticky, and mine's gonna stick a little bit, hopefully. I caught you before you did it. And I'm using my bigger ones. As I mentioned, I poured my minis, and for this, because it's such a big space, I'm just using all the ones. Okay, let's try this one more time. There we go. Got that on there. Okay, so next up, we are going to, I'm just going to flip open my instructions just to be safe, even though I know I made some things a little bit better. All right, so next up, we're going to put the words, the Miss and the U, and you can use little mini glue dots for this. I am going to use my regular adhesive, and I am going to use a maybe silicone mat. That's what I'm looking for. It was here because I used it in there. Oh, Jesus. Maybe not. I'm just going to use it right here. I'm just going to put my regular adhesive on here. And I'm just putting it on the wider parts. Okay. It's bad. And when you put the Miss on, you want to do it just above where you put where your ribbon is, okay? And one thing I forgot to mention, if you want to pull out your sheet, there is also a dot for the eye. So if we go to where I pulled up the Miss, you'll see it's actually right next to the other one. There is a dot for the eye. So forgot to tell you that, but go ahead back to it, pull it out, and I'm just putting it right there for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take one of those glue dots. This is where I really found these to be very helpful. So I'm going to take a glue dot, and with my Take Your Pick tool, this is from a different kit. Let's see if I can find the right ones here. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you have 2 classes in one day. Just a few hours ago, I went live with my quick class. Got a lot of stuff, even though I had everything all set up. I had to do both at the same time. So I just pulled it off with the pointy part, and I'm going to put it where I'm going to want to put my sparkly one. I'm going to take off the top, and then with the other tip of my Take Your Pick tool, I'm just going to pick it up and put it down. Look at that. So much easier than trying to use your fingernails, okay? Believe me, because I did. All right, and now we're going to take the U and the Y-O-U, and again, I'm putting, some adhesive on the wider parts, Don't need a lot. And this time I'm going to put it right underneath where the ribbon is, okay? It looks like when I was following the instructions, it looked like they were touching, but they really aren't, because what's going to end up coming in here is the wish you were here. And so you want to be able to tell that it says miss you. So we might even want to take that down just a little bit further. Because I've just used a little bit of adhesive, I could pull that up. Right. And then for the wish you were here, these go on, this strip goes on with dimensionals. And here's where the mini dimensionals are very important because they are smaller. Just quick side, there we go. And I'm just going to use two mini dimensionals. These little labels are just wide enough to be able to use the regular dimensionals, but the minis make it that much easier. Okay. So we're going to put that on. Let me see. Now, the only thing we have left to do, well, two things left to do, but we've got our cherries. And because this is already lifted, right, we need to put our cherries on. And they did some interesting things. So if you line up where you think you're going to put your cherries, you'll see that, yes, they overlap. And you want to make sure you're not going off the edge of the card because otherwise it won't fit in the envelope. Okay, so I'm just going to stagger them just a littlest bit. And I know that these edges are where I need to put my dimensionals because I don't want it to stick down. So I'm actually going to put the dimensional right there on the paper. And then I'm going to line up my cherry once again. And there it is. And that'll hold it. If you want, you could also put a little bit, you could put one of the glue dots under there. I think I might do that at this point. And the instructions show how you can do it in advance, but I found that to be very confusing, and it just made it a lot easier just to try it, to go on here and just do it myself. So again, I'm lining up where I want it. And then this is definitely going to catch one of the cherries. All right. A little bit. Tip it. And again, I'm going to put one of those little blue dots underneath. And pull it off, that little backing, and glue it down. And there it is. Okay, so now we have the little, remember the little blossoms that we talked about earlier? Well, we need to put those down too. And I'm going to use the glue dots for that again. So they show, they put the blossoms near the leaves. Okay, so I'm going to take two glue dots. I'm going to put those here. And then I'm going to put one more over right on the cherry, just so that I make a little triangle. So again, I'm going to pull off the backing. You can see how relatively easy this is for putting down small pieces. So I'm going to put the bigger one up here. I have two bigger ones. So I'm going to peel this off. Unfortunately, I have to use my fingernails. And I'll take another big one, put it on there. And then this last one, just going to take off. And I'm going to put the small one down here. Okay, so you can see where the little blossoms are. All right, looks like I did this crooked because I can't see what up there. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. It's a little bit better. It's better. And then we always have our little pearls, and you can put them anywhere you want. I'm going to put a little one up top here, And then just to fill in some of the white space we've got going on down here, we'll put pearls. And now that card is finished. Okay. So lots of detail on there. You could also put little glue dots, or even, I think maybe we need one glue dot up here. So I'm going to do that. Take another glue dot right here. You can put it underneath the leaf. Take off the backing. And again, I just find this easier than trying to figure out, working with the die cut upside down. Where am I supposed to put that? How am I going to get it to keep from sticking to the card? So that's how I do it. All right. So that is card number 1. You can see my bow is a little bit better on this one. So, all right. Card number 1 down. Let's move on to card number 2. It's a little bit easier from here. All right. So we've got our congrats. We've got our leaves. We've got 2 lemons, a big banner, and then 2 vellum sprigs. Okay, so I'm going to fold my card, give it a nice crease so that it's nice and flat, so we can work on it. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp again. This one uses the sentiment. Oh, let me show you the card. This is what we're trying to build. So congrats and so much to celebrate. Okay, so I'm looking for so much to celebrate. Here we go. So put your edge here. Peeling it off. Putting it in my block. And putting out my ink pad. Stretching up. And stamping it right on to the band. There we go. So much to celebrate. I love the pink and the green together. It just really, it gives it a nice look. And just take this off, put things away, holding up just the littlest bit so that I can find things in a second when I need to begin. All right. So we've got that done. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with this one, this larger piece. And what they did, which I found very interesting, is they took a piece of the Terran tape. You have to be careful with this because there are a lot of holes, right? This is all holy. So if I had my silicone mat, that would be really, really great. And that is what I used when I created it, but it's missing. So I'm going to take my piece of Terran tape. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it right in the smack in the center of this card. Look at that. And I'm going to come back to my take your pick tool. This is my favorite way of being able to take that backing off. And I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And this actually, they put it on an angle. All right. And you can tell it's still a little sticky, right? So because of that, we don't need a whole lot of adhesive to put these down. These are going to go like this, but we still need some adhesive. So again, I'm going to use my regular adhesive. And I have my silicone mat there. And I just put a little bit on the back. And I'm going to have this one come up this way. And this one will go down. Again, just a little bit. And again, you could just use the glue dots for that, but when I don't have to, I don't. So there we go. It's not a diagonal. Very free form. This time for our twine, our linen thread, they suggest 12 inches. So you can measure the 12 inches. But what I like to do is just cut it right from the roll. So I use my thumbnail again. And now I know I need a bow. So I'm just free handing a bow. Actually, I think for this one, they may have just squished it up, but I like to use a bow in this situation. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger like that. I want some nice ends. So I'm going to cut this like so. Okay, so I've got a nice big bow. And this is going to go right across the center. And because there's some of that tear and tape sticking out of the hole, I'm just pushing it right into that, and voila, it stays. So that is convenient. Okay, so now we're going to take our lemons and we are going to, we're going to put one, we're going to put it on a dimensional. I'm going back to my big ones for now that I have on hand because this is a big space and I'm busy hoarding my my little ones. So I'm just going to use one dimensional and I put one there. And then this one is going to come on an angle and they're overlapping. So again, I'm going to put my dimensional right here because I know I want it to go this way, but it's also going to stick here. I know that. So I'm actually going to take one of those little glue dots right now because I know it. I know that's where it's going to go. And I'm going to put one right here and pull this off. I could have done it later like I did on the other card, but when you know it's going to be like that, you can always do it in advance. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put another dimensional back here because I know I could use that. Extra push. And a nice angle. There we go. So we've got two little lemons. We've got a little thread sticking out. Oops, probably I lost some in there. That's okay. We've got thread. And so now we're going to move on to our congrats. Now this is the one where they really did a great job of they put dimensionals. So they they laid out where the dimensionals should go on the instructions. So they actually put dimensionals on the outer edges. So on the C, and again, we're going back to the little ones because we need to fit. So on the back of the C, they put one dimensional. And they did another one at the S at the other side. So at the thickest part of the other side. And you can always cut down the dimensionals too if it's just not enough. They also put one at the A, and I'm just looking at the instructions. I'll show you that in a second. And then they used a glue dot in the center on the G, just because they know that that has to get stuck in the center there. So glue dots. So I'll pick that up and show it to you in 1 second. Just want to make sure I'm doing it the same as what they did. So I'm going to pull off my backings. Oops. Off. Nope. So it's not off. Let's utilize those. Let's take your pick tool. You can see I'm using it on everything today. So you can see, let me repeat, on the back of the S, on the back of the A, and on the back of the C are the little mini dimensionals. And they put a glue dot between the N and the G. And when you go to lay that down, you can see how that just lines up perfectly and is just enough to pop it up and to hold it nice and snugly. Okay. All right. So remember, it's on the back of the C. Right here is a glue dot. And then so we have the dimensionals over here. So then we'll take our label and we're going to lay this down so that, again, same situation. We want to make sure that behind the so much part, there's a little bit of adhesive. So I'm just going to use, they use tear and tape, but I'm just going to use a little bit of regular adhesive. And then I will use my dimensionals for the other end. I'll put another one. So here you can see what I did there. Okay, so I've got a little adhesive over here. And then I've got my mini dimensionals on this side. And I'm going to tuck it under that G just a little bit and try to keep it straight. There it is. All right, so with just a little forethought, you can adhere things in just the right way. So you have it popped up where it needs to be popped up. And it doesn't go too far up. And then where you can leave it flat, you've got it there. Last thing, we have our curls. And again, I'm going to use, let's see, we'll use a backwards triangle this time. And just I'm going to use two smalls and one big when I can. Sometimes the reverse. But that is card number 2. Okay. These are taking a little while. So definitely knew that this was going to be a little longer. Okay. Card number 3. Let's see, we've got all these little peaches, 5 little peaches. We've got our die cut, we've got our hello. And we're going to put these 2 together. But first, let's fold our cards. Give it a nice, good, firm fold. So we can look at that. So many little backings. They're always everywhere, but particularly today. And then we're going to take our little label. We're going to stamp one of the shorter phrases, which is sweet friend. This will fit on there. Always a nice little sentiment to have. Put it on the block. Have the ink pad. And we're just going to center it on here. And try to get it straight. There it is. Okay. All right, that's the last one. Wait, I'm cleaning it. Okay, so we've got our pieces in. So we are going to first put these, I'm going to put these 2 together, okay? And we're going to do that with glue dots. And we don't need a whole lot of them, but we're going to take our glue dots, and they actually only use 3. And they just found the very, let's see, thickest parts. So I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one over here. And one more down here. We'll take off the backing. Take off the backing. There we go. One left line to my keyboard. All right, now that we have that, these are nice and strong, you know, glue dots are very strong. We want to line this up perfectly, okay? Because these are meant to be lined up perfectly. So I'm just lining up the edges. When I get it where I want it, I'm just going to press it down. Okay, so these are now together. And then on the back, they use the tear and tape because it's a little bit bigger area. And they just did a stripe at the top and a stripe at the bottom. And this is going to go on the card front. So I'm going to put one up here, way up there, and one way at the bottom. You could do more than that if you wanted to, but probably would, you know, not necessary. Okay, and this is going to go onto the card front. I didn't show you the card. Let me grab that so you can see what it is we're aiming for. Of course, you can see that with your card kit, but in your instructions if you're following along. But for those who don't have it in front of them, get that as soon as I adhere to the stand. It's just getting centered right on the card. All right, so and this is what we're going for. Okay. So now we're going to add our peaches. So for the top, we are going to use the medium-sized peaches. So if you remember, kind of hard to tell a difference. They're all just a little bit different sized and colors, but I'm going to start with this one here. Okay. So it is the lighter colored medium one. as I referred to at the beginning. And I'm just going to use regular adhesive for this. You can use the glue dots. That certainly works. And it's going to go up here. And then I'm going to take the bigger or the darker medium one, and I'm going to put it on a different angle over here. So we've got that down. Okay, we need to have our twine again, and we're just going to make a large bow again. Okay. Rolls away. And again, what I do is I just use my fingernail, straighten it out a little bit, and then I just tie a bow. This way I'm not wasting any more than is necessary. I think 12 inches for me is a little much, but if you like to do it freehand, that's what they recommend, the 12 inches again, same as on the last one. And get your loops even sized to each other. I'm going to want this loop to be a little bigger. Let's see. Okay. I want some nice legs on it. And I'll just turn it down with paper 6. Okay. So now that I have that, I want to put it over here, lay it down at this part of the card. So again, like I was doing before, I'm going to go ahead and just put my glue dot right onto the place where I want to put it. And I'm just going to lay it down. This is the bow, and we're going to cover it again. This time we're going to take the darker large peach, and I'm going to go back to my larger dimensionals. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to do exactly what they did. Then I'm going to take the lighter colored large peach, and for this I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to take a large dimensional. I'm going to put it right down here, and I'm going to take a glue dot, and I know I'm going to be overlapping it a little bit. So this way, however I decide to do it, it will have some place to stick. Okay, so let's put that down, and look at that. It's just perfectly aligned, right where it should be. Okay, so now we need to do the hello. So same theory. I see that I'm going to put it down like this. So I need my dimensionals on the back of my mini ones again. Here they are. Get my mini ones out. I'm going to put at the back of the L. And then I'm going to put a glue dot here because that's going to have to stick to the H. So I'll get out my glue dots. I have to stick to the peach, not the H. I'm putting it on the back of the H. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so now that I have that, I can lay this down. I could have also probably squeeze one in over here, but this is nice and easy. I'm going to tuck it under this little peach right here. But there is my hello. And then you're going to add the sweet friend. And obviously this is all going to be on dimensionals because it's not overlapping anything that is flat. Okay. So take this off. This is a nice quick card to make and overlap the letters here just a little bit. But hello, sweet friend. Then we're going to take the little tiny peach and use one glue dot on the back of that. I'm going to let the little leaves overlap. And here we go. Add some gems to, in some of the white space that we might have. So there's another one there. And then we'll do ones here. And then, and there it is. So that was nice and quick. Now that we know what we're doing, right? Makes it easier. Okay, so I know that took a while, but let's go ahead and see some projects that were made by some of my peers, some demonstrators that are out there. I'm going to um, share my screen, and I'm going to start our PowerPoint presentation so that you can see it. So let me just move this out of the way. And slideshow. You know, we have the technology, you may as well use it, right? So here we go. All right, so this is the first one. This is done by Debbie S. Green. And I wanted to point out for sure how to color the glossy, or I'm sorry, well, actually she used the dye from, yeah, she used the dye from the last quarter's, uh, from the last quarter's Paper Pumpkin add-on. But you can see that, I don't know if you can see on the side, but it's the same font as what we're using, what is part of this particular stamp set. And again, that's because this was part of that, this was the June kit, so it was part of that quarter. So anyway, she used that, but you could have also colored the ones that were included in this kit, and you could have used your Stampin' Blends. And so that was what I was trying to show with this card. So I thought, well done. And she cut apart the card because it was a full card base. And she cut apart the front and put it onto a white card base. Okay, here are 3 from Cindy Coots. She's got a fun fold over here, which is very fun. It's just a gatefold card using a circle made with DSP, and she put 3. She used kind of the same design on each of them where she gathered the focal points and put them in the center. But you can see here, she did color the hello. She used a yellow, one of the yellows for the Stampin' Blends, and that's how she got that. So very good. Love how that was done. Okay, Brian King, one of my favorites. He too did that. You can see what I was attracted to and wanted to share. I'm using it all. I love that he took this and perhaps cut it in half, but I think maybe this is a flip down card. It looks like he has the peaches up here. The greenery is behind, and see where this line is? I think that flips down, and you can write on the inside of the card there. So clever. Brian King. This card uses the, they must have, let's see. Did they just take the pink and put it through? I can't tell. It looks to me like it's vellum, but this is the eyelet embossing folder. And you can put anything through the embossing folder, and then she put it on top of the card base. That was for one of the cards, card number 1, I think. And she used some ribbon, and she put the glitter letters right on top of that. So it was fun. That's Cheryl Hamilton. This next one I thought was fabulous. This is a great scrapbook page. She did use a lot of the pieces, and then she used some butterflies from elsewhere. I don't know if it's from a former kit or some dies that we currently have. I know we have a new butterfly bundle that has butterflies. So she may have done that, but I thought this was really nicely done. The way she took all the pieces and then added to them. She's using some of the hexagon dies that we have. What is it? I forget what it's called. Taylor? No. There's a set of hexagon dies that you can use that are stitched. Okay. That was great. And then this is just using, she created, I think she just used the envelope for this. If not, then she used the piece from that card. Let's see. No, she did. So from card number 1, yeah, card number 1 with the cherries on it, she created like a gift tag or a small card using just that piece and made it into a card itself. So it's always fun. It's Heidi Tremblay, and this is Lynn Dunn. She's the person I go to for ideas for alternative projects. She always has some great ideas. She's using some embossing just to make some layers. And then she used the dye and added the cherries. So really easy, but you can really stretch the kit by doing things like that. This is Janie Backer, and again, she just did something a little bit different with it. And she stamped one of the phrases right in the center of the card, and then did the sweet friend up the side and the cherries. Very easy. This is Melva Peters. I like the way that she cut this frame in half. Do you see that? And she adhered it to the left side of the card. So she's got another piece that can then go to the right side of the card, right? And then she added the Miss You and covered it with some of the, you know, the peaches. Remember, we had 5 peaches on that card, so you can really break that into definitely 2. So there you go. And then lastly, I have Rachel Tessman. Look how she made them into little goldfish. The lemons are little goldfish. I thought that was very clever. I saw a couple of people had done that. And she also made it a double Z fold card, which is also quite easy to do. But you can look it up on her website. If you just search Stampin' Rachel Tessman, her blog will come up. I think she's, oh yeah, Stamp Your Art Out. You can just go straight to her blog, stampyourartout.com. So those are the ideas that I had found. And let's see, I think that's it. So our next kit, what happened here? Sorry. Oh, here we go. Our next kit is for July, and it looks beautiful. It is painted flowers, and I can't wait to work with it. Everything that I've seen. Thank you, Sheila. I'm glad you like the alternatives. I can't wait to get it in the mail. And remember that it's a new quarter, so that we have there's a new add-on for it with, like I said, there's a flower die in there, and there's a congrats, I believe, and one other thing. So if you're interested in that, it's $12, and you can find it as a subscriber. You can find it in the online store. If you have any trouble, just let me know. But I think that's it for tonight. Whew, 8:03, that's not so bad. But if you have any trouble with your kit, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you the next time. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.